Welcome back, folks. Today we are continuing our journey coast to coast across Canada on the train. We are in Montreal this morning, as you probably know if you watched last week's video, and that means that we're continuing westwards, and our destination today is Toronto. This train from Montreal to Toronto only takes around 540 kilometers, but with that it does take 5.5 hours to do. It's not a particularly big distance, and this is pretty much the most populated region of Canada. It is called the Windsor-Quebec Corridor, and as you can see on these maps, it is pretty much the most populated area of the country. But despite that, it doesn't have particularly fast train network, which seems completely illogical to me, a European, as we have high-speed trains pretty much across the entire continent. Just to put that into a bit of context for you, this Montreal to Toronto train, 540 kilometers and takes around 5.5 hours. In comparison to that, Paris to Bordeaux, Madrid to Barcelona, Milan to Rome, Tokyo to Osaka are all fairly comparable distances and do those journeys in between 2 and 3 hours. This would be a complete game changer for Canada, and I believe it's something that they're working on in the future, but would just completely revolutionise travel in the country and make it much easier to get around. If anyone's new around here, I'm John. Welcome to the channel. Really good to have you here, and I hope you enjoy some of my videos. I started making travel videos because I thought there was a little bit of a niche in the market. Travel videos for people who don't want over-sensationalised, clickbaity videos like that. Real travel for real people doing normal things. Places can be fun, places can be interesting, but also there's a reality to travel. And I'm trying to bring a well-rounded version of that to you. I don't know. If you enjoy it, then stick around. If not, there are plenty of other travel content creators out there for you. But if that sounds like you, then maybe consider subscribing and sticking around properly. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get back to the video. Fairly short one for this kind of trip. It's only about 5.5 hours, the run from Montreal to Toronto. We're going to be boarding in about 10 minutes and then, yeah, heading on board the train. I'll show you around and we can have a little look and see how different the sort of more short-haul trains versus the long-distance sleepers. There's no need for any sleeper cabins on this train because it's only going to be a few hours between here and Toronto. So yeah, I'm going to just show you around very, very quickly. This is Gare Centrale here in Montreal. This is what it's like. It's very, very nice. Lots of places to sort of grab a bite or a coffee or something. That's what I've just done. Grabbed a little bit of breakfast. And then you can get your trains from here all the way across the country. You can go to Ottawa, you can go to Toronto, Halifax. You can actually get a train down to New York City from here. Yeah, quite a variety of destinations. So yeah, we are gonna get on board our train now. Similar again to the overnight ones though, you do have to line up and do a sort of ticket check and an ID check. A little bit different to if you were getting the train in Europe, for example. So yeah, everyone's kind of lined up waiting. Right then, here we go then, down on the platform. And this is our train, taking us all the way from Montreal to Toronto. This is a train that you will probably be more familiar with in terms of style. It is just a standard, it's just a standard train, really. Fairly similar to ones you'd get in Europe. Pairs of seats and tray tables and stuff, as far as I can tell. So we will hop on board my carriage now. I've got an allocated seat, so it should be much easier. So let me show you around the train itself. Like I said, it was a 2 and 2 pair formation on the train with some tray tables and some fairly comfortable seats. Exactly what you'd imagine from a relatively normal train like this. Didn't take long and we were pulling off away from Montreal, heading west towards our final destination, and today that is Toronto. well, it's this part of the video where I think I should probably tell you what this train costs. It cost a grand total of 85 Canadian dollars. So that is around £45 in the UK, which is not too bad value for money in my opinion. However, I do still think it should be quicker. Then we got a bit of a trolley service come round, which was quite good because there are not really any facilities on board. I took the opportunity to get myself a nice herbal tea, which went pretty well with me trying to get on with some work. I realised that I hadn't actually given you a little tour around the seat. There's a nice little seat back pocket, a fairly good tray table, and I was neighbour free on this trip, which was pretty good in terms of room. Like I said, there are some tables of 4 and then there's the standard seats. The seats were quite nice and leathery. They were very, very comfortable and pretty good. So I have come to deliver another toilet tour. This one is a little bit nicer than some of the others. Here we go. Pretty good. Yeah, sadly, this train is a little boring for a video. There's not really much going on at all. There's nothing to walk around. There's literally just 6 train carriages with seats. That's it. There's no like dining car, there's no snack car, there's just that guy with a trolley, that's it. The scenery's good. The Wi-Fi is still not working, which is a bit of a pain. Some people aren't very happy about that. But yeah, other than that, it's kind of just, I'm using it as an opportunity to get some work done, so that I don't have to do that much when this trip is all over. But yeah, I mean, we'll more than make up for it in our next leg from Toronto all the way to Vancouver. Hello there, John from the future here, just checking in to say that I really appreciate all the support on these Canadian videos recently. We've got part 1 of this trip. Part 2 obviously is this video. There's some great videos from Halifax and Montreal, and next up for you is going to be Toronto next week. And after that is the biggie that I hope everyone is very excited for. We're taking the Canadian for the best part of 5 days, all the way across Canada from Toronto to Vancouver. Well, there we have it then, folks. That is leg 2 done. You can see the CN Tower just behind me. We are in Toronto. This is Toronto Union Station. And we have done another section of this journey all the way across Canada, from Halifax, Nova Scotia to Vancouver. So I'm gonna just finish this when we get up in the station. I've got a couple of days here in Toronto, and then it's time for the big one. The Canadian all the way across from Toronto to Vancouver. And welcome to Toronto Union Station. This is where this video will finish. That was a fairly non-eventful train, let's be honest. Wasn't particularly exciting, and I'm not convinced it's going to make a particularly good video, but a little bit of honesty for you there. The next couple will, however. So our next travel day after this now is going to be the big one. It's taking the Canadian all the way from here in Toronto all the way to Vancouver from this very station. So yeah, we'll be back here in a couple of days and I will see you then.